Wednesday evening. I'm Chase Miller. Welcome to the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show as presented to you by the Hillsborough Economic Development Corporation. This week on the program, we'll start with some wrestling as the North Dakota State Wrestling Tournament begins Thursday through Saturday at the Fargo. We'll hear from the Carrington Cardinals boys and girls wrestling coaches as the boys are making their way to the dual tournament. We'll have coverage of that on Saturday on YourLiveEvent.com for our audio-only coverage, and the same for the individual portion of the tournament on Thursday and Friday as well. From there, we'll hear from Travis Marr of Central Cass Wrestling, able to get to the 400 career milestone on the plateau in dual wrestling. Also, Greg Lund of Roseau Boys Hockey as the Rams are in earnest in postseason play. From there, Nathan Hoots on winning a District 1 Girls Basketball Championship for Maple River Girls Basketball, and Adam Palczewski of West Fargo Boys Hoops picked up a win last night against Fargo North. We'll hear from him as well. And then we'll get to our senior spotlight with Callie Knutson of Red Lake Falls. Again, this is the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show. I'm Chase Miller. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Your Live Event.
Head coach for the Carrington Cardinals boys wrestling team joins us right now. Head coach Josh Kerbaugh for the Carrington Cardinals. And Coach Kerbaugh currently in his 12th year for the boys wrestling team. Thanks, Coach, for taking time and chatting with us here on the Your Live Event Coaches program. And, of course, we got state wrestling coming up at the Fargo Dome this weekend here, and coverage on YourLiveEvent.com. So we'll have that for you starting tomorrow. And Coach, before we talk about state wrestling, let's recap your individual region tournament that was held this last week Saturday, right? What all happened to the Carrington boys over there?
Well, we wrestled fairly well, I must say. We finished third as a team. We qualified 8 individuals, and darn near had a couple more, 3 more actually. It was, and then besides our heavyweight, who completely overachieved and qualified and got 8th, everybody else was in the top 4 between first place and 4th place. So that's a really good sign for, getting a lot more team points that way. At 107, Sky Cromlech got first place. At 121, Drew Carr got second place. At 139, Gabe Clifton, he got 4th place. At 145, Nick Garber, he placed second. 152, Corbin Clifton got first. At 160, Max Chiabataranu, he got 4th. 172, Callan Garber got 3rd. And at heavyweight, like I mentioned, Chuck Jorgensen placed 8th.
Awesome. And then you guys also are the dual champions too for the Northeast region, right?
Correct. Yeah, we had a pretty good weekend that weekend as well. Had to do some bumping around. We didn't win the flip in most of those duels, and especially the tougher duels, finals and semis, but we were able to come up with wins where people were able to step up and go up a weight class and still get victories when we needed it.
And beat Pembina County North, right, in that championship there?
Pembina County North upset Northern Lights in their side of the semis. And then we beat Hillsborough in the semis, and then we beat Pembina County in the finals.
Okay, so let's talk about state tournament now. What you all doing to get ready for that big state tournament in Fargo this weekend here?
We'll have a tougher day again today, a tougher practice. A little bit. I mean, it's not long, but it's going to be longer than tomorrow and longer than Wednesday, because you're really starting to shorten up the length of your practice this time of year. You just want more intensity, shorter time in the room. You're not really teaching a lot of new stuff. You might be, hey, we still mess. We've already covered this, but a couple guys we got to fix this real quick. That type of stuff, and then back to your core drills. And chain position drilling, which is just kind of like half live, but you're putting 2 or 3 things together, letting them get in certain situations, and they're doing specific things, giving each other hard looks, that kind of stuff. Then there's not screwing around. It's everyone's working, you're sweating, you're having to wrestle through hard positions and stay strong. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. So it's good for both guys on the offensive part and the defensive part. And then, even on Wednesdays, even going to be shorter practice, hour-ish. light, probably zero live, or no, probably little, sorry, we'll have a little live, but zero conditioning, anything like that on Wednesday, and then we'll be ready to compete for Thursday morning.
Any wrestler or group of wrestlers you're looking forward to seeing what happens at state for Carrington?
Well, all of them. Oh, for sure. Um, I think it's just exciting this time of year because there's not much more you can do. Everyone's been prepared as well as they can, except for I told you, a couple tweaks here and tapering off at the end, um, and hopefully they just go out there and do the best they can and give a great performance and feel good about it. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to every single individual that qualified for sure, and just hopefully they can accomplish their goals, and hopefully, you really want to see some overachieving. That's always a good sign that you're doing things right, and they're doing things right, and your staff's doing things right, and you can't really take anything away from that if you do those things.
Give us some goals for the state tournament too.
Instead of like an outcome type goal, we're just saying like we're going going after them. Whoever's ranked ahead of us, we're going after them no matter what. We're looking for bonus points in matches, one match at a time, but we're going to be relaxed and ready to go, and we're going to compete at a high level. And just go after every guy that's in front of us.
Okay, sounds good. And now that's individual and dual you qualified for. So
Yep.
Saturdays are the duels. You're going to go up against number 1 South Border on Saturday morning as you were a random pick, right?
There's 8 teams that qualify, so the first and second team out of the 4 subregions, and each team gets to vote for the top 5 teams, however you want to vote, except for you can't vote for yourself. So it's not coming from a impartial voting or voters panel or whatever you want to call it. So it comes from the coaches. Do I like it that way? I don't know. Not really, but you could say nobody's partial or impartial. So hard to explain, but sometimes you just figure you think if you're a region champ, you'd at least get the 5 seed, if not the 4 seed, but that's the way it goes. We were 12-2 in duels this year. New Salem, for example, we were supposed to duel them. I don't know what would happen, but they canceled because of weather, or because of had some sick people or whatever. And Lisbon got canceled because of weather. And then some teams that got seeded, they said, well, we had injuries and now we're back. We're fully loaded. Well, everyone could say that. Same with us. We had a lot of guys out. And would we have beat Lisbon when they canceled by the weather? Highly doubtful. But maybe we would have at the end of the year. You know what I mean? And people are so they can skew it however you want for your benefit. Basically, what I'm saying. So it's I don't know. Nothing's a perfect system, but who cares? Like I was also saying earlier, you still got to wrestle. You might have to wrestle South, depending on your draw. You might have to wrestle South Border first round. You might have to wrestle them in the finals. You might, or whoever. Doesn't matter which team it is. But you can't look at it like, well, I wish, dreading that you had to duel this team. Which round? You just got to go out there and go after them.
Okay, sounds good. Give us maybe a memorable moment for yourself, coaching the Cardinal boys wrestling team this year.
Probably the last 2 weekends. Digging your way out of a season where you had guys out a lot for mostly injuries, and I'd never personally seen in my whole career that many injuries, and and starting at the very beginning of the year, starting before the season even started for some of those guys. And then some weird injuries. Not going to get into the injuries, but some injuries that you hardly ever hear of, and unrelated to wrestling, and then two of those guys you never got back that are really heavyweights when it comes to building a full squad of 13 wrestlers. You need every guy you can get, and losing two of them, really does hurt. But yet we still came together as a group and did pretty doggone good in duels and at individuals. I don't think anyone was thinking we were going to get third in individuals from the rest of the state. So I those are probably the two most, memorable, the word I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Things this season.
Right. Yep. Excuse me. Now Corbin Clifton, he's won state championship last year, right? And he's back state for individual as well, right?
Yep, he's back, and he had that football injury, and he's slowly been. I think he's really starting to get his confidence back, which is big when knowing that you can compete at a high level without worrying so much about re-injuring it, and then it allows you to open up and not worry, and be able to hit some high level techniques without any fear. So, and I think he's really starting to get the confidence that he needs to do well this weekend.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thanks so much, Josh. We appreciate it, and good luck at state in the individuals and dual portions this year once again for the Carrington Cardinals, and that'll be at the Fargo Dome. We'll have coverage for you right here on yourliveevent.com. So thanks again, and good luck. So.
Thanks, Greg. Talk to you later.
Yep, you bet. We'll see you. And right now on the Your Live Event Coaches Show, we're glad to be joined by Mark Pazdernik. And Mark is in his third year for the Carrington Cardinal girls wrestling team and third year of the program as well. So thanks, Coach Pazdernik, for joining us here. And we want to talk about, of course, state wrestling coming up this weekend at the Fargo Dome. But first, you guys were at the individual regionals. So maybe kind of give us a recap what all happened for Cardinal girls wrestling over the weekend.
All right. We end up having 14 girls wrestle in the individual part of regionals in Castleton on Friday. It went fairly well. We had several girls that were seated 7th, 8th, or in those spots on the bracket. So usually when you're seated 7th, 8th, you're kind of on the line of either making it or not making it. We end up getting 9 qualified out of the 14, which was really good. We'll just start with our top couple. We end up having 2 girls make the finals. Kendra Garcia made the finals with Marley Stremick, and we lost in the finals to her. And we've seen her 3 times now and beat her 1 out of the 3. And then Jasmine Yabara made the finals and lost to Kaylee Kurtz from Grand Forks, one of the top girls at that weight class. So both those girls finished runner-up. And then I think we had 2 girls get back into 5th and 6th. Let's see. Asa Reimke took 6th. She had a really good tournament. She got drawn in with the number 6 seed at the beginning of the day, and we'd lost to her twice. I think the last time we wrestled her, we lost 24-12, and we ended up beating her 6-1, 6-0, something like that. So she had a really good match, which set her up to get her back into the wrestlebacks, and she wrestled really well, and she ended up taking 6 for us. And then also Madalena Chubateriano took 6 for us. She had a really good day in the quarterfinals. She beat a Valley City girl that she lost to 2 weeks prior to that. She beat her pretty good. And then lost to a really good girl in the semifinals. And then coming back through the wrestlebacks, she kind of had a little mistake in one of her matches. She was up 7-1, and we ended up losing on a headlock, losing 8-7. That dropped her to 6, and we didn't wrestle her for 5th and 6th. So those have been the top 4 girls. And then we had, trying to think, had a couple girls. We'll start at the bottom at 100. Grace English took 8th for us. She qualified. I already talked about Asa 106. Go up to 112. We also had another top 6 finish in Juliet Davis. She ended up taking 4th. She was seeded 3rd. Really had a good tournament. And then let's see, keep going on up. who else am I missing? Kenzie Jost at 130 was not seeded and wrestled 2 good matches in the wrestlebacks to get back into 7th and 8th, and she ended up taking 8th qualifying. And then our 2 upper weight classes, Nevaeh Sorensen ended up taking 8th for us, and Jillian Parker also took 8th for us. So those would be our 9 participants out of the 14 that wrestled at regionals. So.
Okay, awesome, great deal. And then, so how do you get ready for the state tournament? You got a little bit of preparation before it starts, right?
Yeah, there's not much preparation anymore because I'll practice Monday, Tuesday, regular time after school. We'll practice Wednesday before school because I have to be down in Fargo for girls wrestling meeting at 5. So there's only 2 good practices and a short practice on Wednesday. Just a lot of the same thing, keeping it the same. Don't want to change a whole lot. Keep the same routine. We've tried to shorten up the practices. At this point in time, you're done getting into shape. If you're not in shape right now, a couple weeks is not going to make the difference. So we've been trying to make it short and sweet to get the girls out of there, and also trying to keep them healthy. We've had a lot of sickness in our room, just like people across the state and in their schools. So we've just been trying to, everybody get a good night's sleep and get nutrition in them, and hopefully everybody's healthy next week. And we were fairly healthy the last couple of weeks, where some teams have been totally wiped out. So, but yeah, we're just trying to keep it the same routine and just keep plugging away. So,
Are there any particular wrestler or wrestlers that you're looking forward to seeing them perform at state?
well, actually, all of these girls I'm excited to see. Several of them have been there before. Kendra and Jasmine are both returning state placers, so they've been through the grind. They know what it's about. You got to put 3, 4, 5 good matches in a row, to place high in the podium. And for the most part, the rest of them, I think, are fairly new. I think the other 7 have never made it to the individual side. So yeah, I'm just excited for all of them to be there to wrestle. Hopefully the nerves aren't too bad for them. We do go to Rumble on the Red, which that tournament's way bigger than the state tournament. That's the whole Fargo dome floor, where the state wrestling is only one end zone for the most part, so they make it a little bit smaller. But yeah, just excited for all of them to get that experience and go there to perform where hopefully they're able to be successful and try to get as many girls on top of the podium at the end of Friday's session. So,
What can you expect from like the competition at state level?
well, for the most part, the girls, there's only, I don't know, there's 50 girls teams, and for the most part, all girls teams travel from one end to the other. So the competition is not going to be much different because we see those same girls every week. There isn't a team that I don't think that Carrington at least doesn't see, because we travel to the east, to the west. I guess not the very far west, but most of those teams come to Bismarck, Minot, Rugby. But the competition is obviously going to be steeper because sometimes there's over 16 girls in a bracket for most tournaments. Well, here there's only 16, the top 16 girls. So for the most part, there are no average girls or below at state. So, you got to bring your A game the very first match because it's the top 16 in the state. So, yeah, just looking for some good competition and hopefully we wrestle well. So.
How about some goals for the Cardinal girl wrestlers at state?
Well, I think one of my goals is always to try to finish in the top 10, and we've been right there, really close, 10th, 11th, 12th. But that all takes place with girls winning matches for the most part. And we got several girls that should be high place winners, and then there's several girls that maybe we can sneak into 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, something like that. But again, they got to put together 1 or 2, 3 good matches in a row to get there. And yeah, so I would say the goal is probably finish in the top 10. The top 4 or 5 or probably 6, 7 are probably locked up with the Bismarck schools and the Minot schools when they're going to have 8 or 9 place winners. And I'm hoping for maybe 3, 4 place winners to get there. So, but yep.
Okay, and then one more question before we let you go. Maybe talk about maybe some of a memorable coaching moment leading up to the state tournament for you this year.
You asked me that before, and I've been racking my brain the whole time about that. My memorable moments are probably like where the girls started at the beginning of the year to where they ended. Especially with the younger girls, seventh and eighth graders that are still learning. But just how far that they have come from the beginning of the year to the end is like my most memorable moment. Where girls, if they don't progress and like learn anything and put it into play in their matches, it just seems to be like an eyesore. But for the girls, all of them have just learned so much. Is probably my most memorable moment for the most part. So,
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And good luck at the state tournament at the Fargo Dome this weekend.
all right, sounds good. Thank you for your time.
Yep, you bet. See you later.
Bye.
Treat yourself to a great career at American Crystal Sugar Company. Team up with quality people making quality products. Full-time and year-round in a stable business. With great pay and benefits including time off available from day one. American Crystal Sugar Company invests in you to promote your continued growth and career advancement. Grow your career doing your best work within the world's best beet sugar company. Apply online today at americancrystalcareers.com.
Don't be fooled by that beat-up old cap. Its faded crown represents the tireless work of America's farmers and ranchers. Its sturdy brim, their dedication to providing our nation with a safe, affordable food source. So we'd like to tip our hat to them. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
Visit with Ryan Opdahl, your local Farmers Union Insurance agent in Hillsborough.
Growers, prepare your fields and yields against the wet conditions for 2025 and beyond with a drain tile project from Chad's Excavating out of Mayville. Drain tiling will improve and increase your yields and land values for years to come. Chad's Excavating provides free, detailed estimates, and with over 40 years of combined success, they provide professional installation and service. Call Chad today to prepare for your future and any questions that you might have. That's Chad's Excavating out of Mayville, helping farmers grow.
Joining us now, the head coach is Travis Lemar, and Travis obviously has to feel nice going into a dual tournament, coming out on top. You've had the bullseye on your back, being the back-to-back defending champs, and you're able to win it for a third consecutive season at Grand Forks Central. Just what does this year's one, I guess, mean for the club? Again, being that back-to-back champ and coming out as the number one seed again from the East.
Yeah, one of the coaches up there asked me, he's like, hey, have you ever lost to an East school? And I said, nope, and we don't plan on doing it today either. So, I think this year, like the first couple years, it was so brand new, so just for everybody, that it was hard to appreciate it. Like winning back to back and that kind of stuff. It was just kind of expected. Well, you got the most girls, you've had the most success, that kind of stuff. This year, everybody really closed the gap on us, right? Like teams wrestled us a lot closer. It was a lot tougher to find the wins and things like that. And going into it, there were a lot of opponents that said, this is the year that we knock you off. So, like you said, having that bullseye on our back, like we really relished that this year. And we were ready to defend it and make sure that we came out number one, and the girls did that. It was a great team effort. Each duel we had somebody else step up huge and win matches for us. And I couldn't be prouder of this team.
Let's, before we talk about your opponent coming up with Dickinson on Saturday, February 22nd for a little wrestling in the morning in the quarterfinals at state, let's talk about some of your individuals in that championship match at Grand Forks Central, just kind of what they were able to do against Team Grand Forks. Lakin Kapan, with that fall, and she had to work for it, 5 minutes, 24 seconds, Travis. And, that was obviously a big one that got you over the hump in terms of just the points and the seeds at that particular time of where you were looking to kind of chess piece that particular duel. But what did you see from her just grinding one out there and coming out with that pin?
I told her dad afterwards, where he was kind of standing on the other side of the gym, and I'm like, hey, Adam, come here. And he comes over and I said, that's the best your daughter's wrestled all year. Like, that's a girl that's pinned her twice this year. And very quality opponent. Like, she's a really good wrestler. But it truly was like, you saw all of the potential that Lakin Kapan had in that match. Like, she stayed in good position the whole time. She stayed on the offense the whole time. She was constantly in control. and really frustrated her opponent because her opponent was, is not used to being kind of in those types of positions. And for her to get that pin was huge. Like as every coach, you kind of go in and you pencil out where you think things are going to be, and I do best case and I do worst case scenarios and try and figure out the moves that their coach is going to do. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't have it going that way. We all know that she's a very talented wrestler, and it showed there. And honestly, I mean, her getting that, it didn't seal up the dual victory for us. We still needed another one, but it really locked it in. It made my moves up top a lot easier to be able to do to kind of protect some of our girls and keep them healthy for this upcoming weekend and not have to put them on the mat. So it was great. I mean, like I said, it's the best she's wrestled all year. She wrestled a perfect match. And like if she can put those types of matches together here these next 2 weekends, she'll find herself on both podiums pretty high.
Before we let you go, 2 more questions here. Another one with Grace Lemar, able to do something similar that kind of did then at that particular juncture, put you over the mat, going from what we saw from Lincoln. Then once Grace got that, then at least from a team standpoint wide for the points, you knew that, hey, you're going to be the 1 seed again. So just take us through the emotion, whether it was Grace, whether it was Anna, whether it was Lois, whoever it was at that particular moment, Travis, when you knew officially, hey, we're the 1 seed again. Just take us through what that's like as a coach, seeing those wrestlers come out with that potential and finishing the way that they did.
I mean, like speaking of Anna, right? Like she's just dynamite, right? She's been phenomenal all year. She's easily our best wrestler. I mean, everybody knows it. She lives for wrestling. It's what she puts all her time into. And to see her have the kind of success that she's having this year is awesome because like, how hard she's worked to try and, put all of that into it. And, she's been a leader for us on and off the mat. And, if you had 13 Anna Whites, I wouldn't have to worry about coaching at all. I just sit in the corner and get to, play on my phone and they just go out and do their thing. For Grace, being able to step on the mat, and seal that up for us was huge. She's obviously, she's my daughter, coach's kid, all that kind of stuff. I think it's fair to say wrestling is not her favorite sport. She'll gladly say that to anybody. But it's what we do, right? And she's been a big part of our success this year. She really wrestles to make sure that she's ready to go for track, and she battled through some injuries here this last half of the year. She hasn't been able to wrestle fully in tournaments and in practice. So for her to be able to go out and kind of get that win for us and seal up the duel was super special, as a coach and a dad sitting there, in the corner watching her get the pin to lock that up. And kind of special for our family because I've been in this biz for a long time. And I've been blessed to have a lot of great teams. And when those teams go out and perform, in spite of bad coaching, you get recognized for it. And when she got that sealed up win number 400 for me, which was a milestone that I never thought I would ever envision as a coach or anything like that. So kind of an extra special moment for us as a family, and just a cool experience for our girls, and told them how much it meant to me that, that they were part of it. And they've been a huge part of it. Our girls have rattled off a ton of wins over the last 4 years, and it's really helped propel my individual stats. And that's not why I do this, obviously, but, to be able to be a part of their lives and have them be, realize like, holy crap, like we've been a long part of a great wrestling tradition here at Central Cass was pretty cool moment for all of us there. And to make it be such a special duel with us winning 3 in a row and coming out, as region dual champs with that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's just the cherry on top when you're able to have that with the family and win a East Region title and know that what it means going to state. And final thing, Travis, I probably should follow up on the 400, but I know you're more worried about the team and the
Yep.
individuals that are going to be wrestling throughout the course of state. When you get to state, how much do you game film? Because we hear on the football field, it takes the weight room, it takes the game film, it takes the reps. Basketball, certain sports you hear about it in baseball. Is it a good relay, so to speak? But when it gets to wrestling, when you got your opponent that's coming up in Dickinson at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning at the Fargo Dome, how much film work are you doing leading up to that? Or how much do you get to see the West, before you get to a state tournament like this?
Yeah, we've seen him a little bit this year. Coach Stravia has done a phenomenal job building that program up to where they are right now. Got a lot of respect for him. He and I have spent hours on the phone over the last couple years just talking girls wrestling and how to help him build his program and doing those kind of things. He's very passionate. His kids work hard. For me, really, it's going to be, trying to find time to find our key matchups and what their girls really like to do, how they like to attack, how they defend things and stuff like that. And the biggest strategy with wrestling is matchups, right? Like if you can get your best on their best and you got to win the swing matches. So try to find favorable matchups for us there and moving girls around and figuring those things out. There'll definitely be time spent during the tournament just watching Dickinson girls, trying to figure them out and making sure that we put our girls in the best position to have success on Saturday morning. So key for us and honestly it's going to be key for them too is making it through the individual healthy. Like the team that comes into that region or that state dual tournament the most healthy is going to have the best shot at winning it. A couple years ago we were kind of favored to win it and we didn't make it through individuals healthy and it showed. We had to forfeit some weights and we lost some matches that we typically wouldn't have lost and it cost us a chance at a state dual title. Trying to manage the girls and making sure that they stay healthy throughout the whole thing and giving us the best chance to try and win 3 duels on Saturday is going to be, it's a tall task, but we're ready for it.
Hey, Travis, as always, thank you so much for your time and best of luck as you get ready for the Fargo Dome coming up.
Thanks, Chase. We really appreciate everything you guys have done for us throughout the year.
All right, I'm sitting here with head coach of the Roseau Rams hockey team, Coach Greg Lund. Coach, last night you come off a huge upset win over in Sartell, 2-1 in double overtime against the Sabres to advance to the semifinals of the Class 8 AA section tournament. First of all, tell me your thoughts from the bench this morning after the game.
Well, I'm still tired, but it was one of those games we knew it was going to be a battle. I think I talked to Sartell's coach before the event, and we knew it was going to be a hard-fought battle. I think we were expecting a low-scoring game, and that's kind of how it went. We got those first 2 periods there. Sartell kind of they had the upper hand on us, and I don't. They're a good team. They're a good skating team. They have a bunch of quick forwards, and their plan was. I found out afterwards is that their plan was to take the body on us, and they took it to us pretty well those first 2 periods there, and third period we got her going, and that's 2 overtimes later. The rest is history.
Well, you mentioned it seemed that the team that Sartell's plan was to take the body to you, which, as you said, was the plan later. And it did look like that. It seemed for a while there that Sartell was in your guys' heads a little bit during the game. It got very chippy during the game where players were barking at each other the entire time. How did you calm your team down from the bench to kind of get them back in the mindset to help eventually win the game at the double overtime?
Well, yeah, that was tough. And we were trying to get our guys to settle down because there was some, like you say, chippiness and after the whistle, garbage and all that sort of stuff. And, it's playoff time. We've witnessed it in the Four Nations here. It's, guys get competitive and it's their emotions get the best of them. And, you're trying to calm them down. But they just, something gets inside them and they're just, it's tough to control it. But I thought that third period we were better. We came out and we had a little. We didn't chew them out after the second period because it's like it's up to you boys, and that's kind of where we left it at. And they answered the bell. We have a long hallway we walk down there, and I was kind of at the end of the hallway as we leave as the boys enter the ice surface there, and it's about a 30-foot walk, and I'm at the end of the hallway, and after that second period, or the beginning of the third period, pardon me, they're walking down that hallway to come out to that ice sheet, and every single player was just staring at me, eye to eye contact, and it gave me a good feeling, but I still, it's tough. That Sartell was playing us tough, but the boys had that look, they had that killer look, and I wish I could have been able to video record that, because it was it gave a guy a pretty good feeling. But we didn't get that tire upper till 5 minutes left, I believe, and so we had power plays, and things just weren't going right for us for a lot of that game there. But when we got that tire upper, I just had that feeling that we're gonna get it done here. But we had our chances, and Sartell had their chances. It could have went either way. As it turned out, we got that lucky last bounce.
Well, it said everyone had their chances. Last year, your team was the favorites at home, playing against the 7 seed in St. Cloud. You lose 2-1. This year, you're the underdog. You have to go to Sartell and you win 2-1 in double overtime. Does it feel like you guys kind of got a monkey off your back from last season's loss, winning with the exact same score on the road as underdogs this season?
Yeah, I would say it kind of does. It's I think it's easier in playoff hockey to play as the underdog. Even though you still have that, you still want to win just as bad as if you're the favorite. But it was a long road trip. It was a long day. You don't know how it's getting off that bus there. I mean, you got the bus legs. That's we got there plenty early, but it seems, on those long bus trips, you always got the bus legs. So, the monkey off the back for sure. I mean, it's good to get that first round win. That, it makes for a long stretch here if you're, you're saying hanging up the skates after round 1. So now we got to look forward to Saturday here.
We'll get to Saturday game against Vinci in a second, but your team now has won 3 straight overtime games to end the season off and to start the playoffs. The one against Cloquet, the one against East Grand Forks, and then tonight. It seems like in this last stretch of the season, your team has finally found the identity that you and I have talked about before that you were looking for, this young squad. What is that identity you guys have finally found now, starting this last part of the season into the playoffs? And how has your senior class helped you guys find that identity for your younger players to carry on into the next couple seasons?
Well, I think, like we've been talking about since I first met you at the beginning of the season, we lost a lot of players from last year, lost a lot of scoring. And, I've told you we wanted to peak at the right time. And, and we've preached that all season long. So starting day 1, the boys knew we lost a lot of goal scorers from last year. And I think we just, we kept on talking about, we practice and playing the right way. And yeah, we've just kind of gelled here. This, end of January, February here, we've gelled. And, I didn't realize that, but now that you say that, yeah, we won 3 overtime games in a row. And it's tough on a guy's heart, that's for sure, because we're all competitors here, and us coaches are we're like, God darn, it'd be nice to have a 3-goal, 4-goal cushion with about 10 minutes left in that third period, but that's just not that's not happening with this club. But hey, we're winning hockey games, so it's that much sweeter when that final buzzer goes off and look at the scoreboard and we got 1 more goal than the opponent.
Yeah, so let's look ahead to Saturday's game. You will play on the road again at Bemidji. Bemidji, a team who beat you guys twice in the regular season. What are you going to have to take from those 2 games to apply to this Saturday to try and pull off another upset win and send you to the Section 8 AA finals?
Well, Bemidji's a top team in the state. I mean, they got a lot of depth. They've returned a lot of guys. They got a lot of seniors. We got a lot of seniors, but their senior class, they've been scoring points. They've been scoring goals. They're close to 5 goals a game. We got a great defensive core, and they got Tate Metcalf and net. They're they're a rock solid team. They're really good playing team, and we got to just play the right way. We can't have any breakdowns, and we had a few breakdowns last night. Obviously Henson had stopped a couple breakaways, and with Bemidji, we got to tighten things up. And we're to beat Bemidji, we got to beat them that same way. Same way we won last night's hockey game. Just keep them shooting from outside, and we got to win a low scoring game. I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. And Abe Henson, he's only been a starter for 1 year this season, but he's really emerged as a guy that your team can rely upon to make a bunch of critical saves. As you mentioned last night, stopping a couple breakaways by himself, including one where the guy had the right angle on him, and Abe was able to stop him right there at the very last second from scoring to make it a 2-0 game. How much has Abe grown in net this season as your full-time starter for the Rams?
Well, I just smile when I think about Abe. He, there was a question mark this year, and I was talking to him back in early November, right away in the season. I just was hoping his mindset was ready for a big year, and boy, does he answered the bell. It's been a pleasure. I mean, he's he's loose, but he's focused, and he's a goalie, he does some goofy stuff in the locker room, but just been a treat to be a part of his this season for him, because he's having fun, and he just says, he goes, "I'm ready, coach." And I look at him sometimes, I'm like, "You don't look ready," but he's ready. He's been and he's been a rock back there for the last half, well, all season, but these last 6 games where we're on this little streak here, he's been playing well. And Sartell, I noticed Sartell's coach had a few quotes in the paper saying how Abram, he was a huge reason why we won that hockey game last night, and he's been a huge reason for us getting 15 wins on the season. It's been a joy. And he stepped up to the plate. He didn't have any varsity experience, and so there's always that question mark when a guy comes in for the year and hasn't played any varsity hockey. And wow, as he showed us up that he's the man.
Mm-hmm. How much have they been able to help your younger players out this season before they graduate and move on to other places?
Yeah, our seniors have been very special to the group. They're all leaders. 3 guys are captains, but like Jay Culberson, he's played forward all his life. And back against that first Warrow game, we asked him to move back to defense, and we saw some good things, and we just stuck with him there. And he's the type of guy. He scored 60 points last year. Him and Noah Ernest were a dynamic duo together, and we asked him, can you help the team and just move back to defense? You're not going to score 60 points this year at that defensive spot. And he said, absolutely, whatever, to help the team. And he's been a rock back there. And we got Austin Clint, another senior captain, who's just been steady all season long. He's got offensive skills, just been great. And then, got Eli Winslow, another captain back in defense that, he had the big game winner last night, and he's tough defensively. If we need some physicality, he's right there. And, we got several other seniors up front that, I don't want to forget anybody, so I'm not going to name names, but they've all been very special hockey players for this squad, and, we're going to miss them. But they've been a treat, and they've been good role models to this. We got a few youngsters on this squad, and I think that's one reason why we've maybe been gelling here at the end is, because we're just a team, and they all hang out together, and it's just we got a good special bond there, and it's hopefully good things keep on going here for us.
All right. Well, Coach, thanks for your time to talk to me today, and good luck in Bemidji this week in the Class 8AA section semifinals.
All right. Thank you. Enjoy the cities there. Good luck to Warrow down there.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
There's more at 104. Hillsborough, North Dakota has everything you need on your next road trip. Food, fuel, fun, and family-friendly activities. Stop by and fill up your tank or grab a bite to eat. Have a blast at Goose River Golf Club, the swimming pool, or one of our beautiful parks. There's even ice skating and cross-country skiing. Take in the sights or stay the night so you don't miss a thing. Experience Hillsborough and see why there's more at 104.
Parents can influence their child's behavioral health in a few simple ways. The first is really having ongoing conversation.
Role modeling positive behavior. Parenting starts at home, and those positive influences that a parent has rolls off on their children.
Sometimes just a simple question will get a child talking, and you might learn things about your child that you just didn't know about before. If you get to a difficult topic, that's where you can reach out to Parents Lead and look for some of that information that might help you navigate that difficult topic. And that's one of the benefits of Parents Lead.
Sharing our heritage, sharing our future. Choosing the right bank for your financial needs can be challenging with the many choices available. Dakota Heritage Bank is pleased you're interested in knowing more about what they can do for you. The Dakota Heritage Bank community bank setting is a strong advantage they have over larger, less personal banks. Customers are more than account numbers, they are friends and neighbors. Working together, Dakota Heritage Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Well, joining us now on our post-game show, there's the head coach here for the Maple River Raiders. That is Nathan Hoots, also Coach of the Year and able to sweep the award, so to speak, with Addison Hannig being a Senior Athlete of the Year. I know there's a multitude of ways that we can start with this one, Hoots, but from Saturday to Monday, what's going through your mind after defeating Weimar Lidgewood, seeing that Sargent County was going to be a rematch from about 365 days ago? What was the last, 48 hours like before you got to tip here earlier tonight?
A lot of Sargent County film from last year's district championship to our game earlier this year to the semifinal game on Saturday night, and just trying to find ways that what looked good and what didn't look good. What do we need to avoid doing? And I think it started with turning the ball over. I don't know how many we had tonight, but it felt like we played a much cleaner game than we did last year at this time. And, I told you on Saturday when we talked afterward, I knew we were going to be mentally locked in. Our girls, we had a shoot-around last night, shoot-around and hung out today as a team since we didn't have school. And there was just not a sense of calm, but a sense of if we're going to go down, we're going to make sure that we throw our best punch. And I said, I think we'd be locked in. It's just a matter of whether or not the shots went in, and the shots went in quite a bit tonight.
You got Violet on one side. She had 17 in the first half. Kadoon had 18 in her own right on the other half. I said it kind of felt like a marquee of Richmond and Kadoon going at it. Then all of a sudden some role players were stepping up. New still getting a big shot and a steal. All of a sudden you saw Sophia Satcham with a tip, and just Abigail Killorn with those floaters on the inside. What's going through your mind as a coach when you got one that's going, but also on the opposite side there's one that's going as well?
Simultaneously, how can we slow her down while also keeping my girl going? Once she started hitting those shots, ironically, we put in Sophia Satcham and told her to go guard her and just try to put some pressure on her. She's a unique combination of athleticism and length and just overall sports know-how. She kind of looked at me and went, and I just said, just try to do your best. That's all I'm going to ask. Gave Addie and Bree a little bit of a rest on her because the idea was, hey, we're going to try to alternate between the two of you. Sophia gave her a different look, and with Bree kind of getting rolled up on and her knee bothering her, she wasn't going to be able to physically contest her in the post if that's the way they went. Just really happy that we were able to match them shot for shot in that first half, because if our shots aren't going down in that first half, it's we could have been down 15, no doubt about it, with the way she was shooting.
33 points from a freshman in a District 1 championship. Goes perfect from the line, goes perfect from three, 6 of 6 from three, 7 of 7 from the line. What more can you say about Violet Richmond rising, so to speak, to the occasion here tonight?
It was something that she deserves more than pretty much anybody. And for her to be able to step up big time, she's had games where she knows what I'm saying is true, that she's a little frustrated that she wasn't able to rise to the occasion. I know that it burns in her that she didn't play great at state last year, and that it burns in her that we didn't have a great showing in the district championship game last year. But she showed up in Langdon, or against Langdon last year in the state qualifier game, and she's really showed up when we've needed her. And just, I try not to pay attention too much during warm-ups. When I saw her stroking it over and over again, I had to start looking other places, because I knew that good things were going to happen. It was just a really exciting night for myself, for the girls, for the bench, for our program, and just, it's exciting moving forward that I have such great senior leadership and an absolute stud as a freshman.
Brielle Kaloran, Addison Hanig, those two seniors, as you mentioned, on the all-district team. Addison Hanig, the senior athlete of the year. Just what does that mean to have the culmination of those girls get rewarded like this from the opposite coaches that you get to see day in and day out here in the district?
It's a recognition of a lot of hard work and longevity. Addison's been someone that teams have likely been game planning against since she was probably an 8th grader, just because of her size. And every year she's been able to add something to her game. Her ability tonight to hit those free throw line jumpers against their box and one defense really allowed us to then be able to spread them out and attack the lanes that were given to us because it started with her making those shots inside. And Brielle's just unreal athleticism to get the ball from point A to point B in a ridiculous amount of time. Couple dribbles, and she's just flying by people, and she just loves to be able to play the pace that we've played with. Her and Violet just kind of eat up that pace that we've kind of gotten to here in the postseason play, and just extremely proud of all of them.
2 more questions for you, Hoots, before we let you go. I will start with this one before we talk about your opponent and what the next week will be like. I know this is not something that you want to recognize for yourself, but obviously the accomplishment of being the District 1 Coach of the Year this year, just what does it mean? You're 17 and now 5 on the season. You're making your way to the region tournament, as the 1 seed this year. Just what does this particular, 4th year of the co-op, the 2024-25 Raiders mean to you?
There's a lot right there.
Yeah.
It means I have really good basketball players. I have a program that I'm really, really proud of. I'm proud of the upperclassmen, the way that they bring along our underclassmen from the time they join us in the summer after their 6th grade year to the time that they graduate. We have really, really good girls in our school and in our program, and I'm excited for what could possibly happen here coming up and what they've already accomplished, just because they know that there's a lot bigger things in life that they're going to be able to accomplish because of the kids that they are and the adults they'll become. And that, as a coach and the leader of the program, that makes me really happy.
Final thing, you're waiting for your opponent when you're coming in today. It's going to be Kidder County. You got a week to kind of prep for them and then just kind of see what the dice, so to speak, rolls out for the next couple weeks. So what's the next week like after going through this? Because you and I were joking last year. You played all 10 postseason games that you could possibly play, and now you played 3 of them so far. So you know what the journey could be. What's this year's version of it as you get ready for now, what you kind of know what to expect once you get to Jamestown?
We're gonna do our best to make sure that we are fully healthy and fully rested. It'll be a lot of attention to detail and not a ton of, we're not going to rep them out and just be going for 3 hours every night. We're going to watch some film. We're going to get to know Kidder County here in the next couple of days. Haven't got to see them a whole lot, not a whole lot of like opponents. So we'll spend some time studying them and getting to know them a little bit, and then watching our film and being able to kind of break things down, and then go in, get our work done in a short amount of time to save the legs so that we're ready to go for 3 games in 4 days, hopefully next week.
Hoots, as always, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations on a good night and best of luck going forward.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Chase.
That again is Nathan Hoots. We'll put a bow on this one next here in Valley.
And here joined on our Tommy's Express Car Wash postgame show, and then our DJ Coulter postgame interview here tonight on yourliveevent.com. So Edmund Palczewski here with me of the West Fargo boys team, coming out victorious 88-79 tonight. That was effort on the basketball floor here tonight from both teams. What did you think of the effort and performance here tonight from your squad?
Well, first, before I talked about my squad, North played their butt off. They played so hard, and they made a lot of plays. They forced us into a lot of turnovers and easy buckets for them in the first half, and credit to them for game planning that and taking advantage of some of our weaknesses. But I challenged our guys at halftime to take care of the ball and get good looks at the rim, because we were kind of scoring right around that bucket on post-ups and drives, which was really good for us. So we did that in the second half and executed a little bit more than they did, and we ended up on top because of it.
Yeah. It seems like despite EDC rivalry, you guys have a good respect for each other. Like these two squads here, they left it all out on the floor tonight, and there was just good play between both of these teams, and seemed like really good basketball came because of that.
Yeah. Travis does a great job with those guys. He and I get along really well. Off the court as well as on the court. So it's always fun coaching against your friends and stuff like that, because you're going to get their best effort from their kids' best effort. So beating those guys, it means something, because, again, it's hard to do. So that's really nice. And then, you look at what we've done his teams the last 2 years and my teams the 2 years before that, representing the EDC and state title games. And I know Cheyenne was in there too and won one. But it's been, North and West Fargo and Cheyenne for a little while. And it's been a good little start to a little rivalry.
Yeah, definitely. And talk to some of the top performances from your squad here tonight. Aiden Samick leading with 26 points here tonight and 11 of 11 at the free throw line, if I counted correctly. So just talk about getting to the line and then some of your top performers tonight.
Aiden was locked in. I'm really proud of him because I challenged him. He's been hurt a little bit, so I said, you're going to come off the bench, but you still need to, positively impact the game, and boy, did he ever impact the game it was just his decisions. He didn't force anything. He took a lot of good shots, and guys got him the ball when he was ready, and then he drove to the basket. He played off 2 feet, really strong, getting those fouls. You play off 1 foot, you're not really going to get those calls. Played off 2, played really smart, and then just drilled those free throws. And we needed him tonight. I think we're 30 of 39, and that's our best performance of the year. So, hats off to him. The other guy that did a great job for us was Alex Wetterlin. He had 14 points, but 13 rebounds, especially at the last probably 9 minutes. He really closed out possessions and didn't allow North to get second chances. So hats off to him, too, for having a great rebounding game.
Yeah, that was very noticeable down the stretch. You guys really locked in defensively, and it was one and done on the defensive side. So rebounding, how big was that, being able to close out the game and just go one and done on the defensive end?
Well, it's huge, especially as the game gets more towards the end. Every offensive rebound and score they get off, it creates more momentum than it does in the first part of the game. So at the end of the game, you need guys to close out possessions, and Alex got challenged to be the one to do it just because of the position he was playing at the time and who he was guarding, and he took up the challenge and executed it superbly.
Absolutely. And in a tight game, what's the message to your squad here when lead is going back and forth and back and forth? What's the message to your squad down the stretch of this game?
The biggest thing is play free, because if you're tense, you're going to make mistakes. If you're playing free, you still might make some mistakes, but you're going to make a lot more plays too, and you end up executing whatever your habits are. So if I've done my job well, then those guys execute the proper things, and sometimes when I haven't done my job well, they don't. But if they play free, they have that chance. So that's the biggest thing. Then on the defensive end, it's all about communication. Just communicate with your guys early, be to your help early, talk early, and then you can take away a lot of their easy baskets. And that's really what it was, is not just did Alex close out possessions, it's that we forced them to take tough shots, and then that makes it a likely miss, and then Alex was able to clean up after those.
Yeah, definitely. And everyone knows once you get to playoffs time, everyone is 0-0, so records are what they were, but everything evens out. So what is the confidence level heading towards that time when playoffs are coming up, getting a win down wire to wire like this on the road?
Well, I like the fact that our boys have experience in the state tournament, making it last year, and kind of in a similar position. We were not a top 4 team, not expected to make it, and then we just kind of caught a lightning in the bottle. And beat a very good Grand Forks Central team last year down the stretch to go to the state tournament. The challenge will be, making sure we don't rely on just pulling a rabbit out of a hat at that time. We got to prepare every day like we're trying to, make the state tournament and not have a bad day of practice. We need good days of practice.
Yeah. It seems like both of these teams have the ability to really catch fire and maybe pull off a really nice run coming up during tournament time, just because of some of the pieces, how these teams are constructed, and the hustle players just top to bottom on the lineups. It seems like both of these teams kind of have that ability to catch fire, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Talking about one of the differences tonight, too, I believe we were the first to the floor on most 50-50 balls. So guys like Hawkins Seymour, Aiden Samick was to the floor. Wyatt Knutson got on the floor a bunch and got some plays for us. So, just being the first guy down there sends a message not just to the other team, but to your team that we're playing to win tonight. So that was huge down the stretch. Actually, middle of the first half, there were some loose balls, and we were kind of losing our way a little bit, but we made some hustle plays and kept possession and then got some buckets out of it. So those kind of things make a difference, especially this time of year.
Definitely. Well, a scrappy win for you here tonight. Congratulations. Enjoy the road victory, and have a good night.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome into our senior spotlight portion of the YourLiveEvent.com coaches show. James Cardarelli joined by senior at Red Lake Falls, Callie Knutson, who was also a senior hockey player for the Thief River Falls Prowlers. And Callie, you are committed to play college hockey at St. Mary's University of Minnesota. Just kind of take us through the process and why you decided on St. Mary's.
I kind of knew that I wanted to play somewhere kind of far from home, but not too far. And a smaller school was what I thought would be best for me, and they stood out the most, so I decided to play there.
Yeah, when you went on did you go and visit St. Mary's?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and what stood out to you about visiting there?
Probably just the team bond. They all are super close, and the coach is awesome, so it felt like the right fit.
Now, bittersweet because your guys' season just ended the other day against Roseau. But looking back on your high school hockey career, how are you going to look back on it, down the road, do you think?
I think it was a great 5 years. I started in 8th grade, so it's been quite a while of playing high school hockey, but definitely was super fun, and I hope everyone had the experience that I did playing high school hockey.
And how was it playing with, I believe it's your little sister. Is Grace your sister on your team?
She is.
Yeah, how was it playing with her?
I mean, as siblings, we did kind of butt heads sometimes, but it was fun.
Now, I've been calling your games for about 3 seasons now since I got to Thief River Falls. I will say that this year, you guys were definitely taking more steps of becoming a better team. Did you kind of feel that your senior year as well?
Yeah, for sure. I felt like a lot of the girls over the summer had improved so much. So it kind of felt like we were all kind of on the same page of being a winning team. So, yeah.
Awesome. And then as you progress through school and through college, what do you need to get better at, do you think, on the ice?
For me personally?
Yeah.
Put me on the spot. I think me personally, I could probably be more confident. Sometimes I kind of sit back too much. So I think going forward, I should probably just be more myself on the ice.
Well, I will say you did have a more confident play style this year. And even in that last Roseau game, I mean, you were playing pretty aggressively. So that was fun to see. And then how was it playing with Lila Gallagher, who really, she can put the puck in the back of the net. She's very talented.
Yes, she's a very talented player. She's super quick, and I think every day at practice even she pushes me a lot to be a better player. We kind of push each other, so she's a great player.
So what was it like playing with Thief River Falls? Because you go to Red Lake Falls, but then you don't have a girls hockey team, so you have to play with the Prowlers. Is that how that works? How was that? Is that kind of weird, kind of joining a team where, you're not seeing the girls every day at school?
I think right away, like your 8th grade year, it might be, but you kind of just know everybody.
Yeah.
And as you get older, and it's fun. It's kind of fun being around people that you're not with every day in a way. So I like it a lot, actually.
Awesome. Well, Callie, thanks so much for joining us here on the Senior Spotlight, and congratulations. You're going to play college hockey at St. Mary's University of Minnesota next year, and we'll follow you along, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. That does it for the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show every Wednesday night. And crazy to think next Wednesday is the final Wednesday in February, as we'll put a bow on the state wrestling tournament in North Dakota, and we'll get you ready for more prep frenzy across the state of North Dakota and Minnesota as well. The YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show presented to you by the Hillsborough Economic Development Corporation. Have a great rest of your Wednesday night.